Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Blessings Podcast. Dan Sachkowsky, also known as Big D, is larger than life. And the reason why he is because he has an enormous heart. And his character had to expand to fit that level of generosity of spirit that this man has. Dan is a serial entrepreneur who founded and sold many businesses. He has appeared on The Apprentice and has been featured in Success magazine. Today, he's a highly sought-after business growth expert, guiding leaders on how to implement the right systems and processes to scale their companies to multi-millions and beyond. But Dan has also been so successful that he wants to give back. He's devoting his life to teaching other people that anything is possible for them, that you can be successful in business, that you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a person who turns your life around, someone who transforms mind, body, and soul to become someone that your family and your friends and the world can see as a role model. Because as we improve our own lives, we become examples of light and wisdom and love for other people's success and positivity. Success is contagious, and Dan is here today to talk to us about some meaningful things so that you can realize that you have what it takes already inside you. If you're dreaming about it, it's because a future version of you already has it. Please welcome Dan Sachkowsky to the show.
How you doing?
So Dan, I'm going to ask you some big questions, right? I don't want to waste any time. I want us to talk about big things so that we can make a big impact in the lives of anyone listening. And that's why we call you Big D. So we're going big. So we're going to start with this one. Okay.
Sure.
What is the difference in your mind between truly living and just going through the motions?
So truly living is when you get out of bed in the morning and you're excited about what you're doing and life just fills you with energy. You don't have to find the energy to go throughout your day. A lot of people struggle to get out of bed. A lot of people struggle to find that place in life where they have a burning desire to chase the things that they're chasing every day. And they're just filling a void to basically to get a paycheck or just to do the thing so they can get through life. Being in a place where you can truly just hop out of bed, you don't have to talk yourself into going to somewhere where, whether it's your business, whether it's your job, whatever it is, you are literally gravitated there because you're so excited about the fulfillment that you get from being present in that moment.
That's a great answer. Do you think that everyone needs to have a burning desire in order to have a successful life?
I believe that desire is a starting achievement of all success. So like you have to have a desire for what you do, no matter whatever it is that you're successful at. Meaning if you played sports as a kid, you were one of the best players on the team. You had a burning desire to be the best, to show up the best and give your best every day. Something happens in life where when people show up, they just show up, but they're not present. And if you're not present, that means that whatever you're doing isn't going to give you the best result. It's just going to give you the result that you're looking for in the moment so that you could pass the time. So I truly believe that whatever it is that you want to do in life, if it's going to be something that you're winning at or something that you're growing, into, or something that's really going to be purposeful, you do have to have a burning desire to be doing it and to be a part of it.
So with your own life experience, take us a little bit through your story and how you developed that burning desire to be successful.
I grew up super humble beginnings, living in an apartment growing up in the hood. And then we moved to the suburbs. Moving to the suburbs, my grandparents and uncle moved into a 3-bedroom house, and the situation wasn't any different, but I started seeing life a little bit differently. I started seeing people having multiple family cars, pools in their backyards, batting cages in their backyards, basketball courts in their backyards. I started seeing things that I never saw before, and I was allowed to leave my house and go down the block, which I couldn't do for 14 years of my life. I saw a different side of the world 14 years into my life, and on top of that, I started seeing other people, because when you're living in, I would say, poverty, everyone else around you is in poverty. But when poverty moves to upper or middle class, and the only reason why we were able to do so is because 3 other family members tracked along and helped pay their bills, you start to see life a little bit different. And when you start experiencing kids having things and people doing things that you've never thought possible, one of 2 things are going to happen. You're going to think that they're lucky, or you're going to try to figure out how they're doing it. I had a desire to live a better life than I was living, and I'm not going to say that my life was terrible. My parents did the best at what they could for what they believed. There comes a point in our life where we stop believing things are possible, and we just go through the motions. So they always say, you live till you're 85, right? But you really die at 25. or you die at 35 or wherever that point of your life is. Now, a lot of people just go through the motions. And how many people do you talk to? They go, oh, it's the same thing every day, Monday through Friday. It's the same cycle. And when you live in that cynical world and that whole cycle of the same motions, you forget about all the dreams you had and all the things that you told yourself you were going to do, and your future self never catches up to it.
I think when you have those realizations in your life, that's the universe trying to get your attention. And we all have experiences where some higher force is trying to get our attention. A lot of people ignore that, or they just see that as part of life. You saw it as an opportunity to fuel your own growth and to change your life. So, what were some of the major changes that you had to make as a teenager and then moving into early adulthood so that you could live a different life?
I realized my association was priceless. I started my best friend at the time going through high school. His dad worked for a company called Frigid Air, which is still around today. He was one of the top 5 executives in the company. This kid's house was unbelievable. You could have fit 8 of my houses in his house. And I always spent time over there with their family, what they were doing. I loved their values. I loved what they represented. So not only did he work hard, but the kids were super successful in everything they did. And the parents drove success within them. And I just started surrounding myself with better people. And what's interesting is people go, oh, you were lucky to be in that situation, or you were lucky to be around those people. What's interesting is we have one choice, but we don't have another. So we don't get to really pick our group of friends growing up because geography puts us there. But we do get to pick our friends growing up, meaning there's a whole bunch of people in that area. So, like, we can't pick and choose who's in that area, but we can pick and choose who we define as a friend or define as an associate. And a lot of times people grab onto the wrong people because they fit their today model, not their tomorrow model. And I lived 14 years in my yesterday, and I didn't want to bring that into today. And when I started seeing people with bigger lives and bigger things, I tried to figure out, like, how do I get there? How do I spend time with those people? Not necessarily looking for a free dinner or a free ride, but I want to experience like what that looks like.
You bring up a really good point. I think a lot of times people gravitate towards others that they feel comfortable with, maybe those who validate their current stage in life or their current mindset. But sometimes when a friendship suddenly ends, someone breaks up with you, that's really the universe saying to you, this person doesn't align with your tomorrow person. So you're saying you can consciously pick who are the people who align with the person I really want to be. But also, I think if we listen to the universe, we'll get signs about who those people are. Has that ever happened to you? Has anyone ever come into your path or left your life and you were upset about it at the time, but then you realized it was for your highest good?
I think it happens still today. We get upset about when many people leave our lives because we've invested so much time and energy in these people, but we have to outgrow people. And one thing I learned a long time ago, probably in my early teens, was if you hold on to which is small, you never get which is large. And what I've seen over time, over the years, is people like, oh, I got the same best friend for the last 30 years. And if I look at those two people, like the one guy that I may be talking to has these big dreams, these big ass dreams, but then the friend for 30 years doesn't have dreams, and this is why this guy's not achieving them. And I'm like, you need to start surrounding yourself with people who have a common future, not a common past. Well, I love my friend. He's been here for me for. I'm not telling you not to love your friend, but if you create your identity around his identity, you guys are going to be two like people walking on the same path. And clearly, talking to me today, you tell me you want to do all these bigger things, but you don't want to change your association. Association is priceless.
Yeah, you can't keep yourself small because you feel bad or guilty that that being better will leave someone behind. Your friend has a choice to change along with you, right?
Yeah, a lot of things happen in life too. People try to bring their friends with them, and then now there's like an entitlement. Now there's almost like a feeling where you have to pay for your friends forward on your dollar, on your dime, on all the things that you're doing, just because you have a relationship and just because there's love. Like, you feel responsible, and people get caught up in this all the time, even with brothers and sisters and cousins and all this stuff.
Yep. I think that's a huge money block for people, is feeling like if they get rich or successful, that the people in their lives who are not going to also be equally as rich or successful will not like them anymore, will be jealous, they'll have a bad relationship with them. And that is really a huge block that keeps people stuck.
Yeah, I see it all the time.
What is it, do you think, that besides those things we just talked about really holds people back from achieving their dreams and having entirely different lives?
Mediocrity. Like, people ask other people what they think about their dreams. When you're a kid and you want something, you don't care what anyone else thinks. You literally run after it and you get it. But something shifts in people's minds as they get older. They want to be opinion poll suggesters. Hey, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I want to do. What do you think? And what I've come to the common root of that is, as long as those people tell you it's not a good idea, it's confirmation that you don't have to do the work. So
Mhm.
when you start asking other people what they think about your dream, what they think about your goals, and they shut them down, now you start correcting them and saying, yeah, you're right, versus being like, the hell with you, man. This is what I want to do. Whether you believe in me or not, this is what I'm doing. So something shifts in people's minds at all different ages of their life where they just stop believing in themselves.
And they say build in silence. They say that don't tell anybody what you're working on until after you've gotten through and you're at a certain stage. What do you think about that advice?
Yeah, it's a good idea. There are some people obviously that are going to need to know about, and I think it's okay to express where the future is going to be for you as long as you're going to follow through, right? So information doesn't mean anything until implementation. So if you're not going to follow through, don't tell people things because they will shatter you, but only tell the people who are willing to take the ride with you.
Yeah. What is something that people misjudge about you?
They think I'm a dick.
Why? Why do you think that is?
So you've seen me in person and standing in front of a room. Everyone says I look very intimidating until I talk, right? And I'm just very straight faced because I'm all business. And at the end of the day, listen, if I'm going to be your friend, it's going to because we've done transactional things together and we've grown together, and I've come to know you and I've come to do things with you. So I consider you a friend of mine. But the first time I met you, I didn't know you. So I have to get to know you to see if I'm going to allow you in my life. Here's the opposite of everybody else. Everyone wants to be so warm and bring everybody in, and that's when you get screwed, right? You got to be super cautious, especially when you're making moves in this world, about who you bring in, who you tell things to, and who you let your guard down to, because people will take advantage of you. So I'm straight up, like, when I meet people, I'm all business. And then depending on the vibe of that person or what I'm feeling, that's what they'll get from me.
I think you're very genuine. I can see you definitely have a way that's strong. I would say it's more like confidence than being a dick. But I guess I hear what you're saying. I can see that.
Let's judge that for a year and call it cocky. And I
Yeah.
said, most people that aren't successful can't tell the difference between cocky and confident.
Yeah, exactly.
They're worn two different ways, but from the outside, they look exactly the same.
That's right. That's interesting. So it's more about the perception.
Yes.
I like that reframe. What gives you hope?
When I see people smile, when I impact people, change their lives, for instance, when I did your event, just the opportunity to have people come up to me at the end of the night or the end of the event and say that because I said one thing, it triggered this. Because I said one thing, it opened their eyes to this. Or because I said one thing, they felt like they weren't alone. Like, impact. Like, it's not about money. It's about impact, because a lot of people in this world feel isolated. They feel like their own problems are their own problems. We all deal with the same exact problems, but some of us hold on to them, some of us don't. And it's usually the people who are literally ultimately successful in different areas of their life that go through the most problems. They just don't hold on to them. They don't let them weigh them down, because the more you go through, the more you got to go through. But other people just bring themselves to a stuck where they create an identity from a bad situation, and they stay there. They stay paralyzed, and they don't allow themselves to grow.
I think one of the reasons why the people that came to my Rich Thinking conference, mine and Renee's, is that those people were able to really relate to you. Like you're very real and they could see themselves in you. So when you're talking to an audience like that, why is it important to stay authentic and really just not worry about how people perceive you?
I think regardless of the audience, you should stay authentic. Too many people change their hats depending on who they're talking to. So being authentic and being vulnerable, I believe, are powers that create results. Here's why. When people stand up in front of the room and they want to glorify themselves. And there's people out there, you know them, I know them. They want to talk about themselves. They want to talk about what they're doing. Then they want to talk about how they're helping other people. Like how they're helping other people is the last thing. It's not the first thing. So you have to lead with intention. You have to see what's in the room. You have to see who's there. You got to feel their presence. But at the same time, you've got to deliver yourself at your highest level with the intention that no matter what you say is going to impact somebody in a major way, whether they like it or not, because that's your story. Too many people, like I've seen people who have spoken in 4, 5, 6 different places, and their story changes based on the people there because they're trying to engage people and impress people. So for me, I try to impress upon people about the true parts of life. I don't try to impress anybody. I'm not here to impress you. And I'm super real about it because at the end of the day, like what I'm saying is either going to make you like get punched in the gut, or you're going to just be like, hey, like I didn't feel it. And I've yet to have somebody say,
Yeah, I think your consistency is one of your strengths for sure. What do you think your childhood self would think of you today?
I'm a maniac. So I was a maniac as a kid, right? So I was a skateboarder, I was a snowboarder, I was like an adrenaline junkie. And I'm still an adrenaline junkie, but I'm an adrenaline junkie in a different way. Like I love to see transformation. I love to see things. I love the gym. I love motorcycles. I love fast cars. I love stuff like that. But at the same time, like all of that stuff has only been present in my life because I've always been playing at my highest level. Oh, so like I've always executed, but so many people as kids, they play at their high levels, but then they give up, right? So I always talk about the popular kids in school. Look at all the popular kids in school. Where are they today? They're broke. They're not doing anything because they were so focused on today, not tomorrow. But then look at the people who were just in the middle of the class. The middle class, they just want to survive. They just want to get through. They wanted to be friends with the uppers, the lowers, everyone. They're doing super, super well. And then you got the people at the bottom who were just like stubborn or whatever, and they didn't care, and they were probably the ones always getting in trouble. Those guys and girls, they're killing it because they just didn't want to be part of a crowd. And they didn't want to fit in. They knew that they weren't going to fit in. Depending on where your cycle of life is and what you're trying to do, like you either keep creating that identity to make it worse or to make it better.
Yeah, I think wanting to fit in, the desire to fit in, is a real big block for people.
Yeah. If you show that, like we see the black sheep picture all the time, right, with the whole herd.
Yeah.
If you showed that to a teenager or someone in elementary school, they would be so feared that would be them because they want to fit in with everybody else. But at the end of the day, that black sheep is the one who's going to conquer. And it's one of very many. One is going to go out there and excel because it's not trying, or he or she's not trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah, so true.
You saw that picture as a 10-year-old. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah,
because it's negative. But as you get older, it's a positive.
That's right. I would much rather be the standout than the one fitting in that blends in. What is something that matters so much to you that you think about it almost every day?
Just being present, number one, and being intentional and making sure I'm showing up. The way I show up today is the way I show up tomorrow, is the way I showed up yesterday, and nothing's different. And I'm showing up for all the right reasons. And I'm driving the results that people are looking for and helping those people move forward, because it's all about, for me and what I do, it's all about making sure that the movement goes to the masses. Like everyone else is moving, because if they're moving, I'm moving. When I think we're in a different world, 98% of the world wants to move first and then move everybody else. So in my position of what I do, it's all about moving those people and getting those messages. Hey, Dan, thanks. Hey, Big D, I can't believe, what you told me to do. It really worked. Like that's what matters. Being intentional about what I'm doing to create the result for the people that I'm working with and the people that entrusting in me.
Yeah, serving others. So my final question is always the same. It's 2 parts to the same question, and it's, what are your biggest blessings and your biggest lessons in life? And it can just be one of each if you want.
So I would say my kids are my biggest blessing, because through everything, they've always been there and they'll always be there. Even though a period of my time, one of my kids didn't talk to me, he was still my kid. So I think there's something special about someone having a child and bringing them into this world, regardless of a relationship throughout the whole world. Like your kids are something that you get to be proud of, no matter what. Friends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, like that's not, a child is totally different. because it's a representation of you. It's not you combining yourself with somebody else. It's a representation of you. And then when you're gone, those children will then represent what you've instilled in them and what you've taught them. You can't teach your significant other how to be different or how to grow, but you teach your kids how to come up from the bottom on the things that are right and the things that are wrong. And you really wish and hope that they're going to be able to produce the same results that you want them to. And then my biggest lesson is, for me, it's like moving too quick on things. I've done a lot of things in life, and I used to run on emotion. Like if something excited me, I would do it. Now I've learned so much and I've lost so much, and people have told me, like, don't do that, don't do that. I'm a visionary. Hey, if there's possibility, I'm all for it. But now I just sit back and I say, let me assess this, because every time I've done something so quickly, it's probably bitten me in the ass.
Wow. I have to say, I threw some very big questions at you, and these answers that you came up with are they're the kind of answers that if people really tune in and even listen to this conversation one more time, these are the kinds of things that will actually change your life. So thank you, Dan, for everything. I think your mindset is really the driving force of what you're doing to serve others. And I think you're a great role model, and I'm really glad that we're friends. Thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate it. And go Bills.
Go Bills.